What makes sandbox video games so special? There's no genre quite like the sandbox genre. Having your own world that you can shape however you want. Unlimited freedom. But if there's nothing for you to do, then do you even hold any freedom at all? Today I wanna take a look at what makes sandbox video games so special. Now, sandbox games are quite like the sandcorns that make up the sandbox itself. There's a million of them and a lot of them look quite the same. Yet every few years there is one that sticks out among the grain. One that makes something genre defining. To prove this, I want to look at a few games today that, in my opinion, define the genre in one way or another. Before we start, let me define what I think is a sandbox game. Sandbox games allow the player to do whatever they want, really. There are no objectives other than whatever you set out for yourself, and also just being able to interact with the world in some way, influencing and molding it by your actions, just like a real sandbox. There's no goal other than creating, destroying, and whatever else you got in mind. Now, with this definition out of the way, let's get to the games. Now come on, this was pretty obvious, wasn't it? Minecraft is a one-in-a-lifetime game. It's the most sold video game of all time, and I bet at least 3 out of 4 people watching this video right now have either played it before or consumed content that related to it in some way. How do you even explain it to somebody that has never heard of it before? It's a lot like Legos. Everything is made out of blocks and you either add or remove blocks and thus shape the world around you. But if that's all there was to it, it wouldn't have had this impact on the world. No, Minecraft has other stuff too, of course. There's hostile mobs that you will have to defend yourself against, friendly mobs that aid you in your journey, and neutral mobs. Animals that you can either hunt for food, or tame for agriculture or domestic reasons. There's items you can craft like armor or gear. None of this really matters though, as nothing of this was present in the earliest version of Minecraft, and some of it won't be added for years to come. Now, what makes Minecraft so special? It's the ability to completely form this block world to your liking. You could build a massive mansion, an actual working computer, or a cock and balls. What matters is that your creativity has no limits in this game. Of course, you could just go out and speedrun the game to defeat the Ender Dragon as fast as possible, but you could also take your time and just build your own little place in the harsh world. This game doesn't limit you at all, and it gives you the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want. And if you ever get bored of vanilla Minecraft, there's a truly infinite sea of mods out there to tweak the game to your preference, as well as multiplayer servers, with everything from minigames to complete anarchy. Minecraft really boosted sandbox to the mainstream in my opinion. But enough of that, let's move on to something a little more destructive. Teardown is a fairly recent game. It released in October of 2020 and it even has a story mode that I don't want to talk about because it just limits our creativity. What I want to talk about is the game's sandbox mode. In this you can choose any of the levels in the game and just destroy everything. Every building and object you see has destructible physics, and of course the game also has mods adding new levels and more weapons. You can quite literally do whatever you want. You know, I find it quite hard to write anything more down about this game. It is just so simple. You go in, destroy whatever you want, and that's all you do. But because of its voxel-based physics engine, it just makes you want to keep playing more, because it's just so much fun to see this tower or house or plane or whatever crumble because of whatever you did. It's a really good game and it's also pretty cheap, so. Alright, now it's time for a game that most of you already know.
Did I jump scare you? Yeah, I bet I did. You coward. You make me sick. Your weakness is pathetic.
Originally, I wanted my friend to cover this game as he has much more experience with it than I do, but oh well. Garry's Mod is much more a tool to create something than it is a video game. Unlike the prior 2 games, where there is already stuff in the world for you to do, you come into this empty and barren world with nothing for you. It's all up to you to fill it with whatever you can think of. You could build a physics tower, then fill it with NPCs and destroy it. You could make a zombie battle against you and a group of rebels. Or you could be one of those ultra-realistic Tarkov guys. The point is, the game gives you the tools to do whatever you want and leaves you alone with it. But of course, GMOD wouldn't be what it is today without the Steam Workshop. You can find anything on here. I mean it. Anything. Maps, guns, items, player models, game modes, everything. There really is as much content in this game as you are willing to make. You could even make it Escape from Tarkov 2 for some reason. I won't talk about the multiplayer though, as I haven't even once started it. Of course, it gave birth to Trouble in Terrorist Town, roleplay stuff and all that. I don't know anything about it. You know, my friend will know something about it, but he's like, nah, I don't know say anything, so, you know, let's move on.
Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather.
GTA. These games don't need an introduction. Whether you played 5, 4, 3, San Andreas or Vice City, or if you're like me and also played the handheld games, you played one before, you know what to expect. It's a big open world with guns, vehicles, you can do whatever you want. And also there's a story mode, but who cares, man? I'm only here to do funny stuff like crashing the train 10 million times. GTA 3 was the first 3D GTA, and thus the first open world city sandbox of its kind. You know, without it we wouldn't have games like Saints Row or Driver or Far Cry, and I cannot really imagine a world without the GTA series. And that is all there is to know really. You played the games before. If you didn't, why are you even watching this video? Now this list could go on forever. There is a endless repository of sandbox video games that define the genre in one way or another. So I'm just gonna throw out a few honorable mentions really quick before finishing this video off. Some of my most favorite sandbox games, even if some are less sand than box, are the Far Cry series, Terraria, RimWorld and Dwarf Fortress, Fortnite, yes, unironically. Take a look at the creative mode, it's like Roblox. Oh yeah, Roblox 2, Factorio, the Hitman series, Kerbal Space Program, The Sims, Project Zomboid, the Just Cause series, Zelda Breath of the Wild, the Elder Scrolls games, the Fallout games, and probably many, many more. And as you could tell, some of these examples aren't purely sandbox. They feature a story mode or something else akin to a story, but you can put the sandbox type environment into so many genres at this point. I think almost every game that isn't a little rail shooter has sandbox elements. And of course there's crossover between sandbox and open world, but I think inherently every open world game that lets you freely run around and do whatever you want is a sandbox in some type of way. Of course there's the question, aren't we oversaturated with this stuff? Maybe. Who knows? However, what stands is that it truly is the most influential video game genre out there, and I hope that it can continue to develop and evolve in the coming years. Thanks for watching.
Hola, ¿cómo andan? ¿Qué día es hoy?